Welcome back to the 21 Boom. Now, this is the meditation series, and I'm your I am Coach Zach Feeney, and I'll be your guide for the evening. These sessions are designed to, just help you be more relaxed, get more centered, and we'll get right into this. So, at the beginning of a session, it can be helpful to form a clear intention to just drop everything for this period of however much time we're going to spend here together. And from this period, with the intention to not think about anything and simply be present. There's nothing you need to figure out in this time that we've set aside to meditate. You have the time following your meditation until you choose to practice again to tell yourself the story of your life. Take a few deep breaths, and then when you feel ready, if it feels right for you, close your eyes and then feel the sensations of sitting, however they appear. And notice any sounds that appear and notice how they reveal the space of awareness. You don't have to move toward a sound to hear it. Likewise, you don't have to move toward the breath or any sensation in the body to feel it. And if you pay attention, you'll see that there's no place from which you could move. There's simply consciousness and its contents appearing and changing in each moment. And whenever you notice you're lost in thought, simply pay attention to the thought itself and watch what happens to the thoughts. Where does it go? How is it that it captured your attention in that way? And then simply rest as that condition in which all thoughts and sensations and perceptions appear. Become aware of any mood that is present, any feeling tone to your awareness. Just be aware of that as an appearance in consciousness. Where do you feel it? How is it that you can even notice that your mind feels any way at all? Is it a sensation in your face, in your chest? Where does a mood appear? See if you can let your attention become clear and wide open and open instantly. Just recognize that you're the space in which everything is appearing. There's nothing to build up to. There's nothing to gradually accomplish. Everything is always already happening. And notice the next sounds as they appear, the moment they appear. Let your mind grow wide and simply receive each sensation and perception. And the moment you notice you're lost in thought, see if you can hold on to the thought. What happens to it if you try to seize it or prolong it? And in the last minute of the session, simply begin again and see if you can notice each perception, sensation, or thoughts the moment it appears in consciousness. Forget about all previous efforts. This is the first moment of the practice. Well, once again, thank you for the time you're putting in here. And more, I'd like you to experiment with smoothing the transition from formal practice to the rest of your day. So as you open your eyes now and begin to get up and start your next activity, notice that you're still consciousness all the while. Nothing has changed. All you have is consciousness and its contents continually unfolding. That's all you are as a matter of experience. So the practice we're doing here is not in fact separate from anything else you could be doing with the rest of your day. Begin to remind yourself of that, especially in these transition moments as you get up and seem to be doing something else. And that's today we're going to follow up this meditation with the topic of the power of thoughts. So almost everything you experience is the product of thoughts. Just look around you at the evidence of civilization. Look at how the natural world has been pruned and modified. Thought is almost everything. It's science, art, religion, philosophy, technology, every social pathology, racism, tribal hatred, corporate greed. All of human activity, from the most constructive like finding a cure for disease like smallpox to the most destructive, like weaponizing a disease like smallpox, is the product of what human beings like ourselves think. Look around you at all the objects and materials that you use on a daily basis and upon which you now depend on your survival. If civilization were to end tomorrow, could you produce any of these things? If you were alone in the world, in the state of nature, how long would it take for you to produce a single needle and thread? Would a lifetime be enough? Now imagine what it would take to produce a smartphone. What is the minimum number of people required to move from taking the raw materials out of the earth and refining them into glass and plastic and electronic components, and then developing the principles of computation and memory storage necessary to build a smartphone? Almost everything around us is pregnant with human knowledge. Human knowledge is literally built into the walls of your house and into your clothing. No single person knows how to produce most of what we depend upon. This knowledge is distributed. We're all living in an ever expanding and deepening system of ideas. This is the power of thought. But within our own minds, we tend to live under a kind of tyranny of thinking, and we have a false sense that there's a thinker in addition to thoughts themselves. You may feel that you are the thinker using thoughts or authoring them, but the self is a construct of thoughts. The feeling of self is what it feels like to be thinking in each moment without recognizing the arising of the next thought. And one would be very hard pressed to think of a source of suffering that isn't a direct product of this process. Certainly, everything coming from our relationships and careers and concerns about the past and future is mediated by thoughts. Even our response to pain, direct physical pain, is largely the product of how we think about it. Pain is one thing, suffering is another. The resistance we feel, the anxiety, the fear of how things will hurt in the next moment, this too is the product of thoughts. Of course, getting rid of thought is not an option. The only way to plan for the future, the only way to act intelligently in response to present challenges, is in the general case to think things through and use suffering itself as a kind of alarm clock. And this is where meditation can be useful. Meditation gives you an ability to respond to the alarm. If you are suffering, you are lost in thought. And until you learn a practice like mindfulness, there is no alternative. You'll live at the whim of the next sentence or image that appears in your mind. Once you understand how to meditate, however, once you can pay attention to this automaticity, then you have a choice. So when you're suffering, just notice the present thoughts. Where is it? What is it? What happens to it when you pay attention? And how is it that your suffering can continue in the next moment when the present thought has disappeared? Well, thank you for choosing to watch this and practice along with me, or just joining me every week as I produce more and more of these, and we go about our journey here. Thank you for choosing to be here with me this evening, and I will see everyone next week.